Fantastic Four First Steps, Spoiler City. The setting, the whole
absolutely.
60s retro futuristic vibe.
Correct.
Like, how'd you feel about that?
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Dude.
A couple critiques that I've seen online already, because you know people, they gotta be cool, right? Like, what my critique is. One of them was about the amount of action in this movie.
Mhm.
They said there wasn't enough action. Did you feel that?
No, not at all.
Also, like, do we need to have action every 4 seconds? If you want that much action, go watch fucking Godzilla or Fast and
It's
Furious.
something.
Like, I mean, come on.
Right.
Like, these are not, like, I don't look at Marvel as action movies. One of the other complaints we saw, or I saw, was Galactus was so weak. And this is where I think, get off your phone and fucking pay attention. The Galactus that made it to Earth is hungry.
Right.
Where does Galactus get his power from?
The planets.
The planets. He hadn't eaten a planet in a few months.
Mhm.
Of course he's going to be weak. He wasn't full-powered Galactus. Because if he was full-powered Galactus, I don't think the ending would have been what it was.
Correct. Also, people got to realize that Galactus actually shrinks as he gets hungry.
And he'll weaken as he shrinks, right?
Yes. I'm so happy that they portrayed her power the way they did, right? So you got to think about this. Galactus is a world eater. You know, obviously he was weak
Right.
because I don't think she could have pulled this off otherwise.
Adrian, are you ready to get into Spoiler City?
Let's do it.
Fantastic Four First Steps. So this is a movie that we've been talking about for a while, dude. You know what's funny? I was saying to my wife the other day, if you flash back a year, we had Deadpool and Wolverine. July was the Deadpool and Wolverine. You know, it was their show, dude. They killed the box office. And then this July we had Superman, and now Fantastic Four, another big movie.
Yeah.
So it's just what a time to be alive, right? Cool time to be a comic book fan.
Has it been a year already, dude?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. But here's the thing, though. So you had one movie that probably eclipsed these two movies.
Oh, from a box office.
Yeah, from a box office standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, Deadpool Wolverine to like 1.4 or something like whatever it was. And I'm gonna, it's funny. Remember that because I'm gonna ask you something about that later on. Agree to disagree. So, all right, Fantastic Four First Steps. This is, believe it or not, the 37th MCU film.
Wow.
Ain't that some shit, dude?
Wow.
Like, could you even name 37 movies right now? Like,
no.
It's a lot of movies, dude.
Yeah.
Would you put this in the top 10 of MCU movies? Like, your personal opinion. Would it be in your top 10?
If it is, it's hovering 8 or 9.
Okay. Which is still, I mean, out of 37 movies, it's still an accomplishment, right? And I didn't go through this, so this is not planned. But if I'm going my top 10 MCU, I mean, we ranked some of them recently. I think we had, Infinity War, Civil War, Winter Soldier. You would say all those are better than Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
Black Panther.
Yep. Captain America.
Iron Man. You got No Way Home up there.
Yeah.
Guardians.
Yeah.
1 and 3 maybe.
Yeah.
I think I would say yes, top 10, but I agree it'd probably be like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Which still doesn't, it's still great. But we're talking some amazing movies, dude. We're talking the cream of the crop, as they say. I don't know why they say that. The cream of the crop, you know? I'm not a farmer. You ever done any farming?
Well, cream bubbles up to the top.
Yeah.
So it's the top of everything else.
But is there cream in your crops? You know?
Dude, we can go down so many rabbit holes with that. I don't even want to. Let's continue.
Hey, if anyone out there understands that, let us know. Because now it's going to keep me up at night, Adrian. All right, so Fantastic Four. I said earlier about a 8.8-ish. Maybe I'd give this 8.9. Let's start with the bad, Adrian. What did you not like about this movie?
The casting overwhelmingly.
Okay.
Not that the casting was bad overwhelmingly, but if I'm going to choose something bad about the movie, that part was overwhelming over all the other stuff.
Got it. outside of that, any ish like anything about the movie itself where I mean, was the math in the whole time? Was there anything that you're like, that don't make sense?
Outside of, you have a fucking aluminum foil chick surfing a board across a black hole. I mean, you can't really look at the math. But nothing stood out to me like, that looks fucked up.
Okay.
Or there was no squirrel moments, there was no Martha moments. No, I think it was pretty solid. The writing, the directing, the acting even. And again, I separate the casting from the characters.
Got it. A couple critiques that I've seen online already, because people, they gotta be cool, right? What my critique is, one of them was about the amount of action in this movie. Mm-hmm. They said there wasn't enough action. Did you feel that?
No, not at all.
Also, like, do we need to have action every 4 seconds? Like,
what they want Doom to do? Come down and like split the planet, and then Reed has to figure out how to do that and take care of Doom. Galactus at the same time.
Yeah, it's like, bro, if you want that much action, go watch fucking Godzilla or Fast and Furious.
Something.
Like, I mean, come on,
right?
Like, these are not. Like, I don't look at Marvel as action movies. I just look at them as movies.
Sure.
They're drama. Some of them are comedy. And now what I will say, one of the things that was refreshing about this movie is it felt different.
Sure.
The setting, the whole
absolutely.
60s retro futuristic vibe.
Correct.
Like, how'd you feel about that?
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Dude. It looks so much. Once you're immersed in the movie, that looks so much better than the commercials.
That's a good word to bring up, immerse. It was easy to get immersed in this film.
Yeah.
You ever find yourself sometimes like you're watching a movie and your mind's like telling you that you're watching a movie?
Yeah.
It's fake. Like I was able to get invested in this.
I even like the part where when they did some flashbacks, they somehow, even though you're looking at a retro throwback movie, they somehow made the flashbacks look older than the time period that they were portraying. So that was cool.
And they did a great, what was it, maybe 10 minutes of like flashplay? Not even. Like they did a great job of
sprinkling it in.
Yeah. You got to see everybody's powers. You got to see the fight, like the whole Red Ghost and the apes. That was real quick. Even the Mole Man, the way they introduced him. How'd you feel about Mole Man?
He was more attractive once I started seeing the movie than like the clips that we saw before.
Yeah,
it kind of made more sense.
Yeah.
Because the whole New York vibe, shirt, the glasses.
Right.
I'm like, is this guy like a, fucking model or something? Or trying to be? But he was cool.
He was. Cool. I did a good job. Like, because I mean, I don't know that Mole Man's anyone's favorite character.
No.
I mean, if Mole Man's your favorite character, let us know, because you're a special kind of person.
Special.
But I think they did a good job of him. Like, they changed him enough to kind of make it okay, because he's kind of nasty looking in the comics, dude.
Yeah.
We had all those alternatives a few weeks ago. I mean, I still like Foxman. I'm just, But I thought they did a good job with him. The score was phenomenal, dude. Like, the music throughout, like, that's something. And Michael Giacchino is the one who was the composer here. He also did, I think, the Spider-Man trilogy. He's done, I want to say he did Rogue One, Star Wars. He's got some good credits under his belt, but I thought he really did a great job. Like, the Fantastic Four had their own little theme that caught on. Every time it would come, my daughter would look at me like it was a feel good, score throughout. And I just think that he nailed it. Let's talk about Silver Surfer. So this was a thing that, when the trailer first dropped, everybody was all upset. They're going woke, Adrian, or adding a girl silver. Can't have a girl surf. A girl can't be powerful. They're all upset. And now we did some digging and realized that Shala Bal is actually Norrin Rad's wife.
Correct.
Right? And there is a version, because there's a multiverse of comics.
Sure.
There's a comic line where Shala Bal becomes Silver Surfer over Norrin, and that was the version we saw here. And why I think for me, it made so much sense. Johnny is known as someone who, like you said, likes thrills and likes women, right? We didn't need to spend a bunch of time with him dating girls and all. We saw that with, like, why he was attracted to Silver Surfer was she's a chick.
Right.
So we were able to kind of drive that point home and not have to add a bunch of unnecessary side shit.
Correct.
So I think that it worked. not just because of that. I think Julia Garner did a phenomenal job. And then, what you were talking about earlier, I want to get into the whole surfing through the cosmos was great. But I think that it really helped tie that Johnny dynamic to the plot with, like, he's walking that line of he's the immature little brother. But like you said, he also figured some shit out.
Right.
And I think part of it was, it felt like he wants to be accepted by his brother-in-law. But Breed is, dude, he's a genius. Right. Literally the smartest guy in the universe. And Johnny's just like a joke to a lot of people, right? So he wanted to be accepted, but he's still Johnny.
Right.
But I thought that it being Shia LaBeouf over Norman Rad really helped drive that point home. And dude, surfing the cosmos. Let's talk about that scene where they're leaving Galactus' planet. And they're going through space, and they decide we're just going to go like around this black hole and shit.
Right.
And dude, Silver Surfer is surfing through a black hole. Dude, how awesome was that?
Well, she wasn't surfing through the black hole. She was surfing through a wormhole.
Okay.
Because they were trying to escape her. They were going toward a black hole, which is the alternative. Yeah. Because they couldn't build up speed and they need to get away from this chick. Because she had caught him. Right. Right. She literally was like phasing through Sue's stomach,
right through the stomach.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but the way that I because when you think about the Silver Surfer, you just think about him flying, right? Not actually surfing. Right. And the way they pulled that off was amazing. Dude. Yeah. It was so much better. I think it would have been like one of those moments where your boy, what's his name? Anyway, so
you gotta give me more than that.
He was on the fucking cruise with the girl.
Oh, Leo?
Leo. Okay. Leo. So he played this guy who made airplanes or whatever.
Oh, the aviator.
Yep.
And Howard Hughes.
Howard Hughes, yeah. And I can think of Remington Steele, but I can't think of Howard Hughes. Anyway.
That's why I'm here, dude. You give me a little bit. I got you, bro. Yeah.
But so he was like, go fly these planes. I want to take pictures of it, or movies of the flying the plane. And they go out, and he's like, what's wrong here? What's wrong here? There was no clouds. He was like, you can't tell how fast the fucking planes are going, right? Because there are no clouds. So go and shoot this shit again. So I think Norman Rad flying through space, the way you traditionally think about him, would have been like the equivalent of those airplanes without the clouds.
Okay.
Which is why I'm bringing all that shit up. Anyway, but the way they portrayed her surfing through space, surfing through this wormhole, like bouncing off the walls and doing all this other kind of stuff was just an amazing job. And then when they got into the influence of the black hole and she's surfing across all this matter and stuff, that was just amazing. Yeah,
absolutely. I think they did an amazing job of showing you how powerful Silver Surfer was, like the speed. I think that's something that you don't realize. It's faster than the speed of light, pretty much. Yep. And they were doing everything in their power just to keep her at bay. Not even. Right. And one part we talked a little earlier about Sue Storm and Malice, right? I don't think. I mean, she was nowhere near Malice in this movie, but I think one of the areas where we saw a little bit of her dark side, I think it was a couple where it just a little glimpse. They're leaving the planet of Galactus. Silver Surfer's chasing them, and she literally she's in the middle of labor, but she tells Johnny, kill her. Right. Like, you don't usually hear that from a hero, and right? It's always that we don't kill, but dude, no hesitation, kill her. And even he was like taken aback, like, what? Right. She's trying to take your nephew, kill her. It's like, yo, that's pretty savage, dude. Yeah. And that was cool. They're trying to shoot her, and he whacked her a couple good times. And I also, how'd you feel about the humor? I don't think it was overbearing. No. It was in the right moments, at least for me.
As a matter of fact, I thought there was less humor than in most movies I've seen recently, even Superman.
Right. And I think when they do it, it's kind of like the quality over quantity, right? If you have less humor, but it's in the right moments from the right characters and it's written well, it lands a lot better.
Absolutely.
Like the whole clobbering time thing. Dude,
what time is it? It was funny.
And it was funny because the payoff was perfect. Yeah. Right? Because you're like, all right, is he ever going to fucking say it? But he said it at the only time he needed to say it. Correct. The big moment.
I think they kind of fell short of that impact, though.
Okay.
Literally, when Johnny dropped him,
Yeah.
I think that whole thing hitting him, I think that impact should have been pretty
more?
much explosive. Yeah.
Okay. There. One of the other complaints we saw, or I saw, was Galactus was so weak, and this is where I think get off your phone and fucking pay attention. First of all, Galactus, he is slow, right? He's big.
Sure.
He ain't gonna be fucking he ain't Usain Bolt in this motherfucker.
Right.
And the Galactus that made it to Earth is hungry.
Right.
Where does Galactus get his power from?
The planets.
The planets. He hadn't eaten a planet in a few months. He's been traveling to and also the timeline. I mean, when Franklin was born to when Galactus showed up, we went through Halloween. We were now in the winter. It's snowing.
Right.
So it's been a handful of months before Galactus has eaten.
Sure.
Of course he's going to be weak. He wasn't full-powered Galactus. Because if he was full-powered Galactus, I don't think the ending would have been what it was.
Correct.
He would have came and wrecked shit.
Correct.
And this is also a tired Galactus. He's been Galactus for a very long time. He obviously wants someone to take his spot. He's tired of fucking running around eating worlds every 2 months and hibernating. So I think it did make sense, at least for me. I didn't look at that as a bad part. Was the math in there? Or?
No, it was good. Also, people got to realize that Galactus actually shrinks as he gets hungrier, too.
Yeah.
So his statue is a lot different than, I think he can get down to probably like 15 feet or something like that.
Okay.
So he can really shrink depending on how famished.
And he'll weaken as he shrinks, right?
Yes.
And I'd have to see it again to really be able to answer this, but I feel like the first time we saw Galactus when they were on his planet versus when he showed up on Earth, I think he was bigger the first time. But he just ate a planet. It would make sense, right?
Sure.
And
That's typically what would have happened.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm not fucking out of my mind. That's probably what happened.
So he wasn't like skyscraper tall because he was tall. He was bigger and taller than the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
By a stretch, but not like, the Twin Towers kind of tall.
He was leaning on buildings, though. He's pretty tall. But I think when we first saw him, though, he was massive, dude.
Yeah.
But he was in the middle of a fucking meal,
There you go.
You go to a seafood boil, bro, mid-meal, bro, this is going to be sticking out more. I'm going to loosen up. I don't wear a belt. I loosen up a belt buckle or something. So that wasn't distracting to me. The level of action, I think that not everything needs to be action every 4 seconds.
Right.
Then you lose out on the weight of the plot. How did you feel? Because sometimes with these movies, it feels like there's no stakes. Like, no one's going to die. Nothing's going to happen. Who even cares? Like Fast and Furious sometimes, like those movies, like there's no stakes, dude. We know, like if Dom literally just died and came back to life on it because Letty was crying, nothing's ever going to stop this guy.
Right.
Do you feel like they did a good job of building the stakes with the whole Franklin, Galactus, the threat? Like, did it feel like there was something at stake here?
Well, when you see Sue pregnant, because she was at stake the entire movie.
Right.
So she's, they're trying to get away from Silver Surfer, and she's in labor, but she's got to make the ship invisible for 30 seconds.
Right.
So that alone, and I love the way they built up, they crescendoed her power, right?
Yes.
So they showed her, she can make things go invisible. But then, if you think about the math of warping, right? You're in a spaceship, in a wormhole, and you have to fucking make this thing go invisible so you can outrun somebody that literally just had her hand in your gut, right?
Yeah.
So, and you're in labor. You got to give it was cool that way. She just kicked off the pants and shit.
Yes.
But Ben was all up in there and shit, delivering and everything. But that was cool.
Yeah.
But then at the end, her baby's at stake, and it's different for men and women. The parenting thing.
Right.
So she's always at stake. So now this cat's trying to take her son. He literally came down to get her son, and now she's got to do all this other kind of shit. And the way she portrayed her power at the end, amazing.
That was awesome. Yeah. I really liked, as much as the Pedro look, if he could have wore a mask or something, just do that next time. But I think they're dynamic on screen. I think they had great chemistry.
Sure.
And they really brought out some of those elements of the comics that are very important to their relationship. The whole Reed being so consumed with this job that he's given himself pretty much, right? Like I love the part where he's like, I'm supposed to do this. She's like, no, you're not. That's just you.
Right.
You're the one, like no one's going, hey, Reed, figure this shit out. That's on you. And she even, and do that part where she said something along the lines of like, yeah, you do all these things like, I'm paraphrasing, but basically to try to get better, to help think, but you don't realize that you're actually hurting me.
Right.
Like the family dynamic was awesome.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because that's something that we've not had it's kind of like what we were talking about with the Fantastic Four comic origin last week, that was the first time there was a family in the comics. This is the first time in these movies where there's a family team, right? Like we've seen some family dynamics, but not actual husband, wife, child, brother. Like that was different for a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they nailed that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it kind of explains why she leaves him 5 times, but
Right.
you know.
Yeah, you honestly see some of those seeds planted here. So when Namor fucking flaps up in there, dude, you never know. He's got those fish scale Speedos on. She might be going, she might be taking a little ride, Reed.
Hey.
You better relax, dude. And I like that they wasted no time getting into the important stuff. Like, I mean, she took a pregnancy test like the minute the movie started.
Yep.
And I think it set the tone for like, this is going to be a family dynamic. This is going to be some, husband, wife figuring shit out. They just happen to have superpowers, which adds a whole nother level of drama to it. How do you feel about the pacing? I think that would be if I had one critique outside of Pedro Pascal's fucking bucket head, I think it felt like they cut the movie down some. It felt like it moved a little quick at times where I'm like, it feels like maybe we're missing some dialogue. Did you get that vibe at all?
I mean, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I think it was good enough.
Yeah.
And nothing really stands out regarding that.
I just felt like it moved fast to where I had to even take a step back and go, wait a minute, like, where are we in the year now? Because I thought it was just Halloween. Now it's snowing. And that's a minor critique. And I think to your point, it was because it was done so well, it wasn't as obvious, but I do feel like they skipped ahead a little bit. But maybe that's just this, new generation where, we got people leaving the movies halfway through because they're bored, or they got to go play Roblox or something, or my friend's on Fortnite, I got to leave. I don't know. So maybe they're doing that to kind of cater to that audience. But either way, and we talked about the look, the whole 60s setting, phenomenal. The power sets. I mean, I really think everybody's power set was great. Like Johnny's as Human Torch looked amazing. Yeah.
And we did clear up a couple of things.
Yeah.
Right. Why the fuck is Ben running through building pillars? Right. So we cleared that up because Sue was trying to push him back, which was an awesome scene.
Yep.
I mean, that alone should have satisfied those people that said, well, there wasn't enough action. That scene alone should have satisfied that.
Yep.
But we also saw where Ben was pulling the ship through the water.
Yes.
So he wasn't pulling it through the water. He was already at the bank.
Correct.
So he was literally just walking up the bank now. So
so that made sense. Yeah. So they solved some dilemma or some questions of ours.
Because I'm like, he's not 50 foot tall.
He's on stilts in the water.
Exactly, because the bottom of the ship is sometimes like 30, 40, 50 feet underwater, right? And what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah.
Like on Sue's force field, walking through the water? If that's the case, she just pushed the fucking thing.
Absolutely. How'd you feel about the suits?
They looked uncomfortable. They looked clunky to me.
Got it. Okay.
I mean, it was a cool look, but it just looked, it was like Superman's suit. It's like padded.
Got it. Okay. I liked them. I think they're the best.
I liked them.
Yeah.
The colors were cool. It just looked a bit complicated.
Okay. Let's talk about Galactus showing up at Earth. This whole sequence was awesome. To your point, like, you're not enough action. Dude, just sit back and enjoy this. Like, he's not going to be running down the street, jumping like Hulk and shit.
Right.
But you think about how big of a deal that is. This big ass entity, whatever the fuck he is, lands in the water, gets out, and I love how he's just kind of like taking his time, dude. And you know what he did that I think some of y'all need to do? He touched grass, Adrian. You heard the saying touch grass?
Yes, sir.
I thought that was funny. He gets there, he's looking around. He's
Smell
never been
the
to
roses.
Earth. Exactly. He's never been to Earth, right? He's like, shit. So he grabs some trees and some grass, raise it in. He's like, I'm about to eat this motherfucker.
That's right.
But dude, how like insane did that look? Him literally using skyscrapers and buildings to like brace himself.
Right.
Like, dude, I think they did a phenomenal job there.
Yeah. Oh, before we get to that, because I want to talk about that scene, Sue's power.
Yes.
So the mole man, he comes in and he's like, I want him to ask me.
Yeah.
And they're going back and forth. That was funny. That was funny.
Yep.
Johnny, don't be mad. I didn't dress you.
Yo, that was great. That was great. I actually want to see the mole man show up again for a little cameo like that.
Sure,
you know?
sure.
But that's also, that comes from, I want to say it's Hickman's run where Sue does have some type of like, not like a Namor relationship, but has some relationship with the mole man to where, same deal, she is respected in Subterranea.
Right.
He does not like Reed.
Right.
You know, but she's been like that peace broker between the surface people and them.
Well, she's like a worldwide peace broker because she was in certain roles.
Right.
Where she was like an
ambassador.
Dignitary, like an ambassador or something.
Yep. Did you notice the little Doom Easter eggs when they had that first meeting at the Future Foundation? They had all the countries represented.
Latveria,
and
twice.
Twice, but nobody's sitting there, but they showed it. So Doom, I would assume, obviously existed already in this, so they must have some history there, which they didn't mention. But I thought that was cool. Also, remember there was a rumor that, Sue Storm's the leader in this. I didn't get that vibe.
No, not at all.
I think she, now, they're a married couple, right? So when you're married and a lot of what you do is going to be like based on your wife, right? Like,
sure,
she's gonna have a lot of influence on you.
Leadership, male in a marriage. I think that male leadership is implied, but negotiated.
Yeah, the wife has a lot of influence.
Yes,
right, and I think we saw that done properly. Where Reed is ultimately gonna make the end decision, but Sue's gonna influence it a lot. Right. And she does bring a lot to the table.
Absolutely.
So I think that it made sense. Like, I didn't feel like, oh, they put, Sue in charge. No, I think that she had enough influence. And when she felt like, she wasn't afraid to speak out and speak her mind when she felt that Reed was reading a little too much.
She was definitely in charge when she was saying, I'm not giving up my baby.
Yes.
She was definitely in charge when they were trying to escape Silver Surfer, and she's like, Johnny, kill this bitch.
Yes.
She was definitely in charge when she was taking down Galactus.
Hell yeah.
So she was in charge a lot about a lot of different things. But over the team, I think is nonsense.
Yeah.
The fact that they even postured that, not the movie, but just people in general.
Those comments. Yeah. No, I think she, and that is no different, at least from the Fantastic Four comics I've read. I think it makes perfect sense.
Right.
That what I've seen there, especially in that Hickman run, that's how it is.
Yeah.
Reed is going to make the ultimate decision, but Sue's like the general on the field, right? He's the commander making the decisions, but she's kind of the one leading the charge when they're out there.
Yep.
Now, and from a power standpoint, it makes sense because Reed's main power is his brain.
Right.
His whole stretching shit ain't gonna do much in battle. Like we saw, he almost get fucking snapped in half. Like
you see the smirk on Galactus' face.
Yes.
When he's like just sitting there doing his bullshit. It's like what is this bullshit?
That shit looked painful, dude. I felt for, as much as his bucket head annoyed me, I felt for him in that moment.
Notice his head didn't stretch.
No.
When Galactus was pulling his body apart, his head was perfectly square.
He should have grabbed him by his forehead or something.
Right.
Shit. But I think that that dynamic between the public and the Fantastic Four when they wouldn't give up the child.
Right.
I think that was a great element to have in the story, and I think it made a lot of sense, right? Because who in their right mind is gonna, I'm gonna give up my kid, even though we're gonna save the Earth? I'm like, I get that, but that's one of those dilemmas where you see both sides, right?
Right.
Like, if it ain't your kid, you're like, yo, give that shit up, save the rest of us. But if it is your kid, you're like, fuck you, motherfucker.
Right.
But
So Sue and I want to cover this before we move on. But Sue's power, right?
Yep.
I'm so happy that they portrayed her power the way they did, right? So you got to think about this. Galactus is a world eater. Obviously he was weak,
right?
Because I don't think she could have pulled this off otherwise.
Correct.
Now, Galactus weighs about 15, 16, 17 tons.
Okay.
And she's moving this fucking dude, right? Not only is she moving him, but I mean, even against his own resistance.
Right.
He's grabbing buildings, which is when Thing comes in. So that was just an awesome portrayal of power. And I think that's early on for her too, because her power is only increases.
Yeah.
But I was just so happy that they finally showed how awesome her power. It cost her life,
correct,
but
right.
It's still a great portrayal.
And we're gonna get there right now. But real quick before we do, I talked about the Reed and Sue dynamic, but also the Sue and Johnny Storm dynamic was great too. It really felt like a brother and sister.
Correct.
Like when she walks in his room and throws the shit at him and knocks his helmet off, or puts his helmet on, like it smells in here. Like they had like a playful brother-sister relationship.
Actually, I think the whole family dynamic, even Ben, Ben like the best friend / uncle / fucking baby deliverer.
Correct.
Right. Even all of that stuff just it didn't feel forced. It felt like everybody was exactly what they was, but they made that whole dynamic work.
And I like that you were saying this the other day when we were talking about it, where we get to see Thing and he's not just moping around the whole time. Like now this is 4 years after he got his power, so he probably went through that. But I feel like every time he's been on screen or anywhere, we always have to deal with the, oh, poor me, for, 2 hours of the movie. You still kind of saw some of that with like his hesitance to talk to the girl. Cause like, dude, I'm this fucking rock thing. Like,
but he still went after her.
Still went after. Yeah. Yep. So I think it was implied, but it wasn't overbearing, which now you really get to see who Thing is versus him in this kind of like almost depressed state, and again, him and Johnny, I think that dynamic was great. Reed really dismissing Johnny because like, oh, fuck, I want to talk to this guy. Remember, he says like 215 saying it's like, oh, that one, really? But then Johnny redeemed himself, dude.
Right.
He figured out what she was saying. Maybe for other reasons. Maybe he thought,
Oh, absolutely for other reasons. But he was the reason that she was actually on his side.
Correct.
Right. And remember at the end, Johnny was about to go in because Galactus came out of that hole, right?
Yep.
And she showed up, banged him out the way.
Yep.
Went at him full force, though.
Yes.
One thing, so I like the way we talk about speed sometimes, right? How Superman moves, the Guardian moves, things like that.
Yep.
So when Johnny was following her out into up to the top of space, obviously, he's flaming out. He's holding on to the surfboard. And when she takes off, it was so fleeting.
Yeah.
I love the way that looked.
Yeah.
I love it. Sometimes they just don't get speed right.
Correct. Ezra Miller, Flash.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was. And it almost shows you that she was, I guess, holding back. Like, did she want Johnny to catch up to her? Partly, because she could have just dipped.
Right.
It's kind of like Superman. He's holding back. Spider-Man's holding back. So maybe she was just, not wanting him to catch her, but kind of. And then, the speed when she took off was insane. Right. All right, so before we talk about the end of the film, anything else on the rest of the movie that stands out to you?
No, I mean, even Herbie as part of the family dynamic, even that worked.
Correct.
He was doing his own thing. He was protecting the kid. He's the helper around the house. Yep. He was just in there, and it felt good. It felt like it made sense.
So, all right, end of the movie. One other point. The bridge. Remember I said the bridge will be in this movie? Yep. And it was. It was. It was on a whole other scale. Yep. All right, I'm not going to lie. That part to me seemed a little bit crazy. We're going to move the earth?
Nah.
Not crazy?
No. You haven't seen Stargate?
No.
No.
Okay.
So what they did was these ships have the capability to warp.
Yeah.
And one of these... So the whole premise is that there's this parasitic race, and what they would do, they used humans as hosts.
Yeah.
And they would, keep them alive for hundreds or thousands of years. Then they had the sarcophagus that could regenerate them and keep them alive, and so on and so forth. They were basically parasites. They would go around stealing other people's shit, their technology, and they put themselves above everybody else. So they are the people. They're the Anunnaki, kinda, right? So they, created, moved people around for their own reasons, and so on and so forth. Well, anyway, there was this technology they could warp these. Not them, but they had technology that could allow spaceships to warp to different places, right? So what they did was Samantha Carter. So one of those cats, and they're like all warring. They're named after Egyptian gods, Seth and this and that. And well, one of them put a asteroid on a collision course. If you go back, so they have this agreement that they were going to leave Earth alone. Well, this one god was pissed off, and he was like, "I'm gonna destroy Earth on the down low by hitting it with an asteroid." So he put an asteroid on the path to Earth. Well, Samantha Carter, who's like the genius, she's like the Reed Richards of Stargate, right? She figures out, well, they first sent them to blow it up. That was unsuccessful. Yeah. So what they did was they wrapped the warp field of the spaceship around the asteroid and teleported it. So you got Earth here, right? You got the asteroid coming. They land on the asteroid, and at this point they teleported the entire asteroid through the Earth to the other side. So that's not moving the planet, but you're moving a rather large object. So in my mind, moving a planet is not far-fetched.
Okay. All right.
It was
a little bit, but I accepted it. I accepted it, Adrian. Kind of like I'm telling everyone else needs to accept the CGI baby. I accepted that,
Not quite the same, but understood.
But then Silver Surfer comes in and wrecks that plan. Right. That caught me off guard. I was not expecting her to just show up and because I'm thinking, oh shit, we're about to see this thing fucking move. And my thought was like, well, shit, Galactus will find it, right? Like obviously. And no, she just came through and wrecked those fucking bridges. Right. And then
the one thing that pissed me off was, he was discovered outside of Mars. And it took him fucking 8 seasons, slow moving ass shit.
I know,
right? It took him 8 seasons. They had time to build all these bridges around the whole planet. He's at, that should have been like a couple of minutes.
Yeah, see, I'm telling you, that's the pace. I'm telling you, something with that pacing, dude. But we'll accept it, know. And then they had the plan, and this is where I think Sue also a little bit of her edge, where they're debating, and I think that Reed knew that Franklin was the answer. We're gonna bait him in, but because of the past conversation they had, where she kind of was pissed that he even thought about the possibility of giving up Franklin. Remember that? I'll never do it, but and that's when he's like, well, it's my job to run these things to my head. Right. She's like, no, fuck, it's not. And I think he didn't want to use Franklin because of that interaction, but Sue's like, it's the only option. Right. And then when she screams no and just disappears, oh shit. You see a little bit of that edge with her. And they used Franklin as the bait to bait in Galactus. So all right, let's get back to Galactus showing up. He's taking a little dip in the river. He wants to wash off before you take a shower before you have dinner, getting cleaned up, no post-shower chat. So
I mean that scene, that part was kind of ridiculous because really he could have just jumped off onto the fucking ground.
To the street, yeah.
Instead in the water, flooded the city.
Right.
And then also, why didn't the water go to subterranean?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. Mo Man's he's got a nice deal down there, dude. Okay. It's nice, safe, and secure. That was funny too. He's like, wipe your feet. I'm just kidding. It's all dirt. It's all dirt. And then, dude, him walking through the streets. I love how they built this moment, right? Right. He's walking through and kicking fucking cars like we would kick a pebble. Right. Destroying the buildings as he's walking by. And of course, he's about to step into the bridge and realizes, oh, hell no. And he calls them clever little ants. I like too when they show up at his planet, he's like, I was once small like you. So he did. He gave his whole backstory of like, you know, and they realize that he's been around before the universe even. Right. He's that old. And then we get to the, you know, a big fight, and we're going to wrap that and talk about Sue just being the MVP, dude.
Right.
But we got to see everybody get a little bit of shine towards the end. I mean, Johnny, you know, doing his thing. And even the other thing that we were proven wrong about was the whole, is that the ultimate nullifier? What is that thing?
Just a fucking pipe.
Yeah, it was like a piece to a billboard or something. Yep. But and then we even saw, you know, as much as I'm shitting on him for his powers, we saw him use his powers the best he could, read the stretching and try to pry open those little power things in the back of Galactus. So think about that. All of you guys, oh, he was too weak. Well, first of all, he hadn't eaten in months, right? So he's smaller, and then they're attacking him. Johnny's trying to burn the shit out of him.
Right.
And then Reed's opening up these kind of like, you know, attachments on the back that's leaking out some power too. So he was at a weakened state.
Which would be like the equivalent of somebody taking a knife and fucking gutting you.
Correct.
And your shit's running out.
Yep, absolutely. One thing I really liked about what they did with Reed was they brought his paranoia to life, because he's pretty paranoid in the comics, and his decision making. Like, dude, everything's going on. They're in the middle of a fight. He's trying to come up with the plan how to solve something.
Yep.
And he does for the most part, right?
Well, and he does with the fact that he's weighing Sue in his decisions.
Correct.
Because if he didn't have to weigh Sue and Franklin and his family, and he would have made decisions a long time ago. He would have took out Galactus a long time ago.
Absolutely. Which is why, like, he's such an interesting character, because that's what's, a lot of heroes don't have that balance. They don't have family, you know, wife, kids that are especially on their team while they're out there. Like,
exactly. Your freaking wife and your brother-in-law, your best friend over there attacking this eternal, basically, right? This thing older than dirt, and you don't know what's going to happen.
Correct. Yeah, he's not, you know, Cap fighting alongside Iron Man. Like, just some dudes we just met, dude. Like, we didn't grow up together or anything. Like, yeah, we're friends as much as we're more coworkers. But these are, that's your family, your wife. And then, you know, this whole fight, the highlight of it is when Sue just says, fuck it. Like, I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to get this guy. And that was when they came up with the other plan of, let's open the portal and let's push this motherfucker through there. Right. And I think she did a great job, Vanessa Kirby, at, you know, bringing that emotion to life of like being at your limit, you know, using every ounce of your strength to get this giant fucking celestial, whatever, you know, into this portal. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
It was fantastic, Adrian. you know, I was saving that for a good moment. And
nice
then
pun. Nice pun.
Yeah, that's how we do it here, dude. You know. And then we saw the clobbering time. We finally got clobbering time, which was, and again, I think that was at the perfect moment. They're flying. And when Galactus threw things, think about why we even had that moment. He chucked Thing like, I don't even dude, he's going out into space. How, like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then Johnny goes out there, grabs him, brings him back, and then you know, throws him right into Galactus. And then we think that, like, Sue, you know, finished them off, but the portal set on a timer. Right. Because, you know, she knocks him into the portal, then she's out. And then this motherfucker starts coming back. You're like, God damn it.
But so two things I'm surprised about. Well, one thing I'm surprised about, and one thing I just want to make people aware of. Things are heavy, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Now, you know, Johnny, he doesn't have he obviously has some level of additional strength to pick Thing up and fly him around like that. Sure. I mean, dropping him is not that big of a deal. But Thing's a pretty heavy dude. Yeah. I want to say 800 or 900 pounds, maybe. So to be flying him around is pretty extraordinary for him to do. Yeah. Right? The other thing is that I thought he was going to go supernova on him. I was surprised I didn't see the supernova power out of him.
It might be
because I think he was just going to like slam into him or something. Yeah. Because he literally, if he would have went supernova, he could have actually supernova probably wouldn't have did the job. He needed to be pushed into the portal. Supernova would probably just kind of like
cause like a big explosion.
Burn everything else around him.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they're saving that for Doomsday.
Maybe.
Because that's the other thing. This is also, we saw at the end credits where, Fantastic Four will show up next in Avengers Doomsday. So, and I'm assuming they're going to play a major part of that movie, being that, Doctor Doom we saw, in this post-credit scene. But, and then.
How you just going to walk into people's houses and shit?
That is so fucking Doom-like, though, right? Like, whatever, what's up? Yeah, just playing with their kid and shit.
Exactly.
But then so Johnny, your point, he's realizes that shit. Sue's out. Fucking. Oh wait, let's talk about the reed stretching, dude. That shit looked painful.
It did.
That,
it did.
That was a good moment,
right?
And
I will say Pedro Pascal pulled that off.
He did.
He made it look painful.
Absolutely. And like you said, Galactus just chuckling.
Right.
Like, dude, this guy, Ralph Fiennes, did a great job of bringing Galactus to life. But then, Johnny, he goes up top and what did he say? Something about tell Franklin Uncle Johnny loves him. Like, basically, I'm going to sacrifice. Like, we got no choice, dude. Like, and Silver. So now I knew that was going to happen. Like, just because, not that I wouldn't read a spoil, but the way the whole Johnny helping her realize, through playing back all these messages and kind of reminding her of who she was and what she's doing, all these other planets. It's one thing to go, hey, Galactus, eat this planet and then bounce, but he was throwing that shit in her face. Like, listen to these people begging for mercy because of you.
Right.
So I'm like, I know she's going to come and save at the end. And she did. She knocked his ass right out of the way. That was a cool shot.
Yeah.
Now, did she go in the portal with him?
Yep.
She did, right?
Yep.
So what's going to happen? Is Galactus going to fucking kill her, or is he depowered enough where she could probably get away?
He will, what he's traditionally done, he's never, I don't think, maybe one instance did he ever take powers away from a herald.
Okay.
Usually the herald will die some kind of way, but like Norrin Rad, his disappointment was he confined him to Earth. Like he couldn't leave Earth's atmosphere, basically. I think Firestorm, she died. Terrax, he died or some shit.
Yeah.
But essentially he does not take that power away from him, from what I remember.
Okay.
Now, he will cause some pain, like he did, when she said, I came back and I'm sorry I let him escape or whatever. So I don't know, but she will be in some level of pain. I can tell you that.
Yeah, got it. And then, Sue is dead, right? She's unalived, Adrian.
Unalived.
And then Franklin Richards realives her, right? Is that a thing now? He unalive to realive, like a reboot.
He reanimated her.
He did. He brought her back. And this in the whole time, there's this kind of storyline or this where Reed and Sue don't believe that Franklin has powers because he's done all his tests. And it's so like the arrogance of him too. Like, what are you talking about? I already tested him. There's no way he's got powers.
Right.
And Galactus like, oh yes, he does, motherfucker. But obviously he does. He crawls back on top of her. And this is like, the CGI baby. You're gonna train like a 6-month-old to be able to climb on this actress and re-alive her? No, it's got to be. It's relax.
I found myself wishing that they would have did something more visible in Franklin to make that transaction happen.
Like see like some power.
His eyes glow, or maybe some fucking halo, or maybe some glowing something. I mean, it was cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, because
I can see that.
And did she come back on her own, or
Now, I have a something that the director confirmed, but we'll wait till post-credit scene. Like you said, Doom shows up, just hanging out at the Baxter building, fucking around with Franklin, right? And we see Sue about to charge her power and probably trying to knock him across the room. Then it ends. Obviously, that. Well, I guess it's not obvious. Who knows? I'm assuming that is Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom, right? Sure. That's the one that's going to lead to Doomsday. And we've already kind of set this idea that Franklin is the ultimate power. Galactus wanted him for some reason.
Right.
I'm assuming it's on Doom's radar now, and he's like, I want his power. And do you think that Franklin is going to play the role of almost a molecule man in this Secret Wars story?
He very possibly can.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally just brought somebody back from the dead.
Right.
I mean, you can do that shit. You can
Just about
probably
anything.
do anything. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, that is our deep dive into Fantastic Four First Steps. I'm going to say after going through this, I'm going to say 8.9 is my final score.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know, I brought you up, dude.
Yeah.
Look at that. So despite fucking Buckethead Pasco, who's in
Yeah,
every goddamn
yeah.
movie possible, I think he's going to play T'Challa in the next Black Panther. But he did a good job. Now, all right, that being said, are you interested in, after seeing him play Pedro Pascal in this Fantastic Four?
You mean Pedro Pascal played Reed Richards?
Yeah, that
Yes,
too.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, switch that around. So
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
you know what I'm saying. How are you more interested in seeing him across the screen from Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom now?
I'm not more interested in seeing him play Reed Richards. I just won't throw up when I do see
Okay, you're less nauseated by
Yeah.
it. Okay.
No, like I said, I mean, none of these cats fit my idea, but who the fuck am I, right?
Sure.
None of these cats fit my idea of who the Fantastic Four characters are.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have a problem seeing them moving forward.
Yeah. And I think that, and this is just my own speculation, if you go back to Infinity War, Endgame, remember when the Guardians of the Galaxy movies came out?
Yeah.
No one knew who the fuck they were,
Mhm.
right? Now, I'm sure there's someone, I read every issue and, okay, you're awesome. Your mommy thinks you're awesome. I think you're awesome. Even Adrian thinks you're awesome. But we don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
No one cares. Most people didn't read those fucking comics. But they did a good enough job of bringing those characters to life, making you actually care about them. And they're probably another one where they weren't a real family, but they had that dynamic,
Sure.
right? And
then Gamora fucked it up at the end.
of course she did. But they played a major role in Infinity War and Doomsday because Thanos was first introduced in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
He's Gamora's father. So he's kind of a villain, at least in the MCU, of that group.
Mhm.
And then because of his chase for these Infinity Stones, it led him to the Avengers.
Right.
You're almost going to, it feels like the Fantastic Four is going to play that version, that role of the Guardians in the next Avengers movies.
Sure.
Where they're going to be a major part, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to work alongside the Avengers. Maybe do we see them fight a little bit? Probably. Mm-hmm. And Doom is the reason why they're even going to interact with each other, kind of like how Thanos brought everyone together.
Right.
For all the wrong reasons.
But that's also, so Guardians of the Galaxy is a perfect example of why I say that Kang could have been so much bigger than what he was.
Okay.
Because they literally took somebody, a whole team of people that didn't mean shit to anybody and just blew them up.
Yeah.
So much so that they ushered in Thanos to be this super villain.
Okay. All right. Last thing on Fantastic Four before we get to the home stretch here. The director, Matt Shakman, he says that Franklin used the power cosmic to bring his mother back to life. You familiar with the power cosmic?
Absolutely. That's what Galactus is built out of.
Yep.
And that's what he bestows upon his heralds.
So it's pretty fucking powerful is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
The way it is described is, let's see, the power cosmic is to wield the power cosmic. This is what Silver Surfer said in the comics. To wield the power cosmic is to be in touch with every other living thing at once. It is to recognize that we aren't alone in the universe. We alone are the universe. We are the cosmos coming to know itself, to love itself. And when you witness that, for even the briefest moments, you will see there is nothing more beautiful. Okay.
Now think about this. Galactus only gives his heralds a flicker of the power cosmic, and that's what Silver Surfer said about that flicker. So imagine what Galactus is looking at.
Yes. The power cosmic is a source of unlimited cosmic energy, primarily wielded by godlike cosmic beings, Galactus and his heralds. Right. So
it's probably something akin to, so in DC, there's a Speed Force.
Okay.
And the Speed Force was only thought of something that Flash uses to go fast, right?
Yeah.
But it's so much more.
That's where he can time travel. And
yes,
shit.
So he taps into the Speed Force. Mm-hmm. So it's like this unlimited source of energy. Like we talk about it in other stuff, where there's these pockets of energy. Mm-hmm. Like people think that there's nothing in nothing space.
Yeah.
But there's actually so much power that a cup of nothing could boil all the water from all the fucking oceans on the planet, kind of a thing. So it's that 0 point energy thing. It's just a different name for it.
Got it. So, I mean, it sounds like if Franklin's wielding the power cosmic at whatever, he can't even hold his head up yet.
Right.
He is going to be the most powerful entity in all of the MCU as he continues to grow.
Right.
Which
so much so that he puts dampeners on himself because his father puts dampeners on him when he's younger.
Correct.
Which also pisses Sue off.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
But he puts dampeners on himself when he gets older, and then he releases them once a year.
Once a year on his birthday.
Take a look around.
Yep.
Is anything going on that needs my attention? Nope. Damper.
Yeah. Because that's the thing is with the power cosmic, it says basically you become all knowing, like you know everything,
omnipotent, omniscient, all powerful,
which is a lot for however old he is when he starts realizing, 3-year-old kid to be able to.
Right, you're 4 and you're creating pocket universes in a closet.
Yeah, because you're
not
bored.
only the space and the energy,
right,
but living things inside of this universe. It's insane.